I think that's a good idea. I actually was thinking about how we could make sure that this doesn't happen again in the future. And my suggestion would be that if for some reason we don't have the minutes to our last meeting, could we list them on the agenda as old business so that we have a mechanism there to make sure that we're not losing them in the woods? I'm not that familiar with Robert's rules, but it would appear to me that, for example, tonight we don't have our last meeting's minutes, so why not list that as old business so that the next meeting we come to, we know that's at least in the queue and we're expecting it. Because when this whole thing first came up, I thought about it, and I said to myself, I really don't know how I would know what minutes we have or what minutes we don't have. I mean, we have minutes to approve tonight, but I couldn't tell you if there's any of them missing, or we're missing a week, or we're missing a month, or whatever. There's no real surefire way to determine which minutes we need to approve. So I would just suggest that if we do not have the minutes for approval for our last meeting, then we actually add them to our old business. I have just one more thing, Mr. Chairman. During this whole course, I was a little surprised to learn that through the Secretary of State's office, we actually have to reduce our minutes to writing. And it made me think for a second, what century are we in? Where we're reducing a television, camera, DVD to writing. And I'm just wondering if perhaps through our state rep, maybe we could work with our office to see if we could change the law. I mean, it is the 21st century. Go ahead.
Well, and in accordance with the law also, if somebody needs them in Braille, or if they're hearing impaired, then we provide them that.
Right, and I don't see any reason why we wouldn't do that if somebody specifically requested them. I mean, we would do that now if they specifically request them. But it just seemed to me like we're in the Austin Buddy days, reducing televised meetings to writing. I mean, when you're looking at a television program and you're looking at a DVD, you see what people mean, you see how they react with each other, you see who's there, and all that. So I don't see any reason why we could not work on having our representatives at the state level talk about amending the open law meeting to begin with.
There's a whole other side of this whole thing. I mean, I spoke with the manager and the attorney last week. I asked that the manager and our attorney contact Lowell and see if we could get an extension of the time. Now, I wouldn't mind, I would like Attorney Hall to elaborate a bit on her response.
Well, as a result of our conversation, I did call Representative Gary and indicated the situation that we found ourselves in. The board wanted all of this done within 10 days of our last meeting. I believe Jim attempted to have some parties other than Samantha and Shannon who are very experienced in this, do the work, and did the real work in the Treasurer's Department. The first page you got to the people speaking off camera. I have no idea who they are. Now, the camera's showing on the chairman and someone speaking over here. So that person really wasn't useful, couldn't be used. So we had to back up to Samantha and Shannon. We immediately realized they couldn't do the work with the other responsibilities within that 10-day window. So I did call Representative Gary. I explained the situation to her. I indicated to her that we would have to visit all these meetings transcribed. It would have to be taken as an individual look at the tape. So it was a 4-hour meeting to be taped after tape, a 4-hour meeting. She understood our problem. She asked me for a day to think about it, and did get back to me the next day and said that she had waited long enough. She wanted them done. So that meant to me we have to transcribe them. We have to go out and hire a company to actually we have to now go forward and do all of these and transcribe them, because we're not going to be able to say to our complainant, maybe the Attorney General, for 2 or 3 months because we have a problem. We really have to now get on this problem and do the work. So we don't have any contingency. Now, possibly the Attorney General might step in and give us some time, but I recommend that we just go forward. We're going to get this done.
The only problem I have is twofold. First, the prices that a manager has gotten is anywhere from $10,000 to $350 to $13,000. With that, the accuracy of when we get those reports back, because whoever is doing the transcribing is just doing word for word. A lot of times the camera will not be picking up who's talking, and they're not going to know who's talking. So once again, I think for the accuracy, I think our own staff people have to go over them, which is another expense. So we could be up to, who knows how much money. I mean, the high end of transcribe alone is $13,800 if we send it over. And then we still have to spend money for our own people to read it over, because I think as the manager told me, they said, well, the accuracy will only be in word for word, not the meaning. That's the difference between staff doing minutes and someone else transcribing. I see that as a problem. So if that's the case, it's going to cost us quite a bit more money. Plus, the only reason we asked Attorney Hall to call, and of course he left a lot of the other dialogue that you had with the others that you gave me, but that's okay. But I just cannot believe that, I mean, we admitted we're wrong. We admitted that we're going to do it. I just don't understand why we should want to put that type of burden on the taxpayer. I just don't get it. Maybe I'm deaf, I just do not get it. I am not running for any political office. I am not in anybody's camp. I don't care about that. All I care about is the taxpayers are breaking. And I think right now, because of this, I think they're getting shot in the stick. We admitted, we agreed to do it. We're going to do it. It's just time for our own people. Plus, the other side of it is, when our own staff is doing it, now they're out for overtime. You're taking it away from your own secretarial people, which is another thing I see. I don't know, I get disturbed with this thing. I just don't know why it's happening, and
With all due respect, Mr. Dracut, this should have already been done. We already paid people to do this. It's not an extra expense to the taxpayers, and it will be accurate. This is a professional reporting service that transcribes people dialoguing all the time at depositions. They know what they're doing. Let them get it done, and it'll be done efficiently and accurately. And then from
word for word for word for word.
That's right.
They do not put a face to those words.
They have the words accurately. They have the words. They know who the people are that are speaking.
Let me think about
They
that.
identify themselves.
When the camera is not on you, and you're speaking, people are not going to know whether it's you, whether it's Kathy, or whether it's Allison. They might be able to tell the woman's voice, but that's about the end.
All of the dialogue from that person will be together. All of the dialogue from the other people will be together. You'll be able to decipher who spoke and who said what.
Well, their own response to the manager was, there could be some inaccuracies because of not knowing who's speaking.
But let's learn from this, and from this day forward, let's have the minutes available.
I think we're trying to do that. We admitted we were wrong, we're admitting we're correcting it, and we're going to correct it. All we asked was that we not spend $15,000 or $20,000 to do it, and spend more than in the vicinity of $5,000, that's all.
Nobody said it was $15,000 to $20,000. It said it was $10,000. You
Well,
couldn't get much in overtime.
We got a low number of $10,350, and the high number was $1,380. Now, beyond that, if you have to pay personnel to go over it again, you have attorney time that was also included in this. You're going to be over $15,000.
It should have already been done. And now let's
Nobody's arguing that. Nobody's arguing that.
We need the minutes from the last couple of meetings that we've already had before us at every meeting. Let's learn from this. We're still not doing that. Let's start.
We're not doing that?
No, there are no meetings here from the last meeting or the meeting before that. Where are they? We have to approve them at every meeting. That is the law. We have to comply with it. We owe that to the taxpayer.
How many days do we have this all?
Usually, well, it's subjective. You could have 2 weeks, you could have 3 weeks, whatever's a reasonable period of time.
Exactly. So if that person is on vacation or whatever, I'm sure that they can do it the following meeting. I don't expect it to go beyond that.
let's address it now, and let's.
I don't think we are, Tammy. I think we're addressing it. We are addressing it. Why we are crucifying the taxpayers, you know what I mean?
We're not crucifying, that's something that should have been done. Those are many, many meetings and minutes that aren't available. That's the law, we have to comply with it. And as I sit here,
Well, take it, I mean, if we did it, we were wrong.
I will make sure that they're done, so that the taxpayers can come and read it, and I know they can get a copy of it.
We don't see there's any problem paying this.
We already paid something to, and
That's not my question.
no, I don't, because we're gonna have to pay something
Okay.
overtime to pay it anyway.
All right.
Well, we shouldn't be paying it at all, we should have had it done.
We should have, right. Anybody, Lisa?
I have a question, first of all. So obviously this one is back to 2010. Once again, I think I asked you last time. Is there a statute of limitation on when we,
I don't know of any, and I'd have to research that for you, but I don't know of any.
so very first thing is on verbal, so that makes me a motion or a no decision that once this issue is cleared up, we set a reasonable time limit for Shannon and Sam to go back. They can have it all, how much time it'll take them, and we should set a deadline to go back and complete this, because God forbid somebody comes in a year from now, so I don't know, 2009, we don't have it. Or at least, I think the first step should be go back and inventory what's missing, because it may not be letter 20, it could be only letter 2, or we don't know how many are missing beyond 2010. And then the next meeting, once we have an inventory, say, okay, or maybe it's after town meeting to go up, I mean, I'm now in November, say, all right, there's 15 money missing, 15, you know, I don't know, 3 a week, 5 weeks is a reasonable time for those to be, I'm not sure, but probably, you know, the big rise of Sam and Shannon, I don't know how many weeks to do that, I think we need to just finish them all, for as far back as we have record of them. Okay.
Jim, you had, I know they had calculated how much it would cost the secretaries to do it, which was $4,705, but I don't see a time frame.
What I asked, when I got the team together into all five different people, I asked them to keep track of their hours, to keep track of all their hours. What it averaged out to on per DVD was 5 hours and 45 minutes per DVD transcribed by the existing staff. And we took the average hourly rate of the 5 staff, and we averaged it $35.58. So it's straight math. That's how we came up with $4,705. So
We just don't know the time because we don't know how their availability as far as being able.
exactly. I mean, in terms of as was pointed out, I mean, they've got the normal course of the day with their own responsibilities. This is something that, as they've been doing over the past week and a half, is they've been staying after hours. They've been doing it at desk at night. And that's basically, you know, we try and do a little bit every single night, or some of them like to just want to get it all done in one night. Some are quicker, more versed at transcribing the numbers. And you get it done in one night.
Mr. Hall, if we did not, if we just chose to do it with our own staff, even though it takes longer, what could be the penalty?
I wouldn't want to guess what that would be, but I think we came up with a proposal on how we should settle this. We should try to stick to it as much as possible. I think at some point, the complainant could complain to the Attorney General. The Attorney General could step in and heighten the enforcement of this order, make it much more difficult for all of us. So my experience in dealing with this, where we've admitted we weren't doing the minutes as we should have, we should get them done as soon as possible for our own good, and also to get this whole matter moved along. So if we really can't get into this, we've heard from the representative who wants these now. She's waited long enough. I could then maybe go to the Attorney General and say tomorrow, well, this is what the facts. We have the complainant wants it now. You know, we hoped we could do it now. Would you give us some technique? We could try that. I just think trying to get this done as soon as possible is the best route, because it's just something that should be resolved.
I might be wrong. The other problem here is it's over $10,000, so it has to be put
That would probably, that I believe would have to be advertised once, we would have to go out, get a scope of services, and then contact three transcribers. And we would have to get a reasonable time to come back on the price. So we could look at, within the week, once the scope is defined, we alert, three transcribing services and then get a price. And we document all of those. Some may not respond, some could, some they all may respond. But we have to attempt to at least a minimum of three.
And while we're on that,